Welcome, coin enthusiasts and accidental treasure hunters alike. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of Roosevelt dimes that might be hiding in your pocket change right now. These aren't just any ordinary dimes. These are the unicorns of U.S. coinage, the hidden gems that could be worth thousands while masquerading as mere 10-cent pieces. Have you ever wondered if that dime in your coin jar might actually be someone's mortgage payment? Well, stay with me, because the three remarkable dimes we're covering today have made headlines, broken records, and changed lives when discovered by both seasoned collectors and everyday Americans just like you. Let's start with what might be the most elusive modern American coin, the legendary 1999 wide AM Roosevelt dime. This coin isn't rare because of some dramatic mintage shortage or historical significance. No, its story is much more fascinating. It's a mistake that slipped through the cracks at the U.S. Mint, creating a treasure hunt that's lasted for over 2 decades. In 1999, the U.S. Mint was in the midst of a transition with their reverse dies, the part of the coin-making equipment that stamps the tails side of the dime. The standard business strike dimes were supposed to have what collectors call a close AM design, where the letters A and M in America appear to be touching or very close together. But somehow, a small number of dimes were mistakenly struck using a proof die, which featured a wider spacing between these letters, hence the wide AM designation. What makes this particularly interesting is that the Mint had been using the wide AM design on regular business strike dimes throughout much of the 1990s, but in 1998, they switched to the close AM design for regular circulation coins, while keeping the wide AM design exclusively for proofs, those special, mirror-like coins made specifically for collectors. The 1999 wide AM dime essentially represents a mix-up of these two designs. When you're looking at a 1999 Roosevelt dime and trying to determine if it might be the valuable wide AM variety, you'll need to grab a magnifying glass or a coin loop. Focus on the reverse side of the coin, specifically the word America. On the rare wide AM variety, there's a noticeable gap between the letters A and M. On regular 1999 dimes, these letters appear to be almost touching. Another identifier is the designer's initials FG to the right of the torch. On the wide AM variety, these initials are positioned slightly differently than on regular dimes. The difference is subtle. We're talking about millimeters here, but the impact on value is anything but subtle. While a regular 1999 dime is worth exactly 10 cents, a 1999 wide AM dime in uncirculated condition can sell for $2,000 to $3,000. Some particularly pristine examples have fetched even more at auction. In 2019, a perfect specimen graded MS 68 by PCGS sold for nearly $5,000 at a specialized coin auction. What's truly remarkable about the 1999 wide AM dime is that it's a modern era coin that can still be found in circulation. Unlike many valuable coins that were recognized as rare from the start and immediately removed from circulation, these dimes were released into the wild before their special status was widely known. This means that there are undoubtedly 1999 wide AM dimes still out there, sitting in cash registers, piggy banks, and coin jars across America, waiting to be discovered by someone with a keen eye. The total mintage of the 1999 wide AM dime remains unknown, but numismatists, that's the fancy term for coin experts, estimate that perhaps a few thousand exist. This uncertainty adds to the mystique and excitement surrounding this coin. Every time you receive a 1999 dime and change, there's that tiny chance you might have hit the numismatic jackpot. I always find it fascinating how condition plays such a crucial role in determining a coin's value. With the 1999 wide AM dime, the difference between grades can mean thousands of dollars. A circulated example might sell for $400 to $800, depending on how worn it is. But jump up to a pristine, uncirculated example with no bag marks or scratches, and you're looking at thousands. At the highest grades, MS 67 and above, these dimes become trophy coins that serious collectors compete fiercely to acquire. There's a great story about a collector in Ohio who discovered a 1999 wide AM dime while sorting through rolls of dimes he'd gotten from his local bank. He wasn't even specifically looking for this variety. He was actually searching for silver dimes from before 1965. But as knowledgeable, I caught the slightly different spacing, and after confirmation from a professional grading service, he sold the coin for enough money to fund his daughter's first semester of college tuition. That's the kind of find that keeps coin collectors searching through change and bankrolls decade after decade. What's particularly intriguing about the 1999 wide AM dime is that it belongs to a family of similar errors. The mint made the same mistake with pennies in 1998 and 1999, creating the 1998 wide AM cent and 1999 wide AM cent. These are also valuable coins, though not quite as rare or valuable as the dime variety. It's as if the mint was having a particularly confusing time with their die assignments during this period. The 1999 wide AM dime also highlights something important about modern coin collecting: that significant treasures can be created not just by low mintages or historical events, but by simple manufacturing variations and mistakes. In an era of mass production and tight quality control, these errors become the exceptions that prove the rule, the needles in the numismatic haystack that make the hobby eternally exciting. For collectors, the hunt for a 1999 wide AM dime represents that perfect blend of challenge and possibility. It's rare enough to be exciting, but common enough that finding one isn't completely implausible. And unlike some valuable coins that require specialized knowledge to identify, the wide AM feature can be spotted by anyone patient enough to examine their change with a magnifying glass. If you're now feeling the urge to check every 1999 dime in your possession, you're not alone. That's the magic of coin collecting, the knowledge that extraordinary value can be hiding in plain sight, masquerading as everyday pocket change. And remember, while we're focusing on high-grade examples when we talk about the most impressive prices, even a worn wide AM dime that's been in circulation is worth far more than its face value. Now, let's shift gears from a modern rarity to a coin with a different kind of story: the 1977 no-mint Mark Roosevelt dime. While the 1999 wide AM dime was created by a mix-up of dies, this 1977 variety represents a different kind of mint error that has coin collectors constantly checking their change from the late 70s. In 1977, the United States Mint produced dimes at three facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Traditionally, coins from Denver bear a small D mint mark, while those from San Francisco feature an S. Philadelphia coins from this era typically had no mint mark at all. However, a small number of 1,977 dimes emerged with no mint mark despite being struck at the Denver Mint, a case of mistaken identity that created an instant numismatic treasure. How did this happen? The most widely accepted explanation is that a batch of coin dies intended for use in Philadelphia was accidentally shipped to Denver. When these dies were put into service, they produced dimes that looked like they were minted in Philadelphia but were actually made in Denver. This might seem like a small detail, but in the world of coin collecting, such anomalies are what dreams are made of. What makes identifying this error particularly challenging is that it's not immediately obvious, like the spacing difference on the 1999 wide AM dimes. A 1977 no mint mark dime looks, at first glance, exactly like it's supposed to look if it were made in Philadelphia. The secret lies in subtle die characteristics, metal flow patterns, and other minute details that expert numismatists have identified as unique to Denver-struck coins. It's not something the average person would spot without specialized knowledge. For collectors trying to identify these rare specimens, there are a few telltale signs. Denver-minted coins from this period tend to have a slightly different strike quality than those from Philadelphia. Under magnification, experts look for specific die markers, tiny imperfections in the die that transferred to all coins struck from it. The positioning of the date and other elements can also provide clues. But ultimately, definitive attribution often requires examination by professional grading services with specialized equipment and comparative databases. The value of a 1977 no mint mark error dime varies significantly based on condition, but the numbers are impressive across the board. A circulated example might command $400 to $700, while pristine uncirculated specimens can easily fetch $2,500 to $3,000. The record sale for this error was an exceptionally well-preserved specimen graded MS 67 by PCGS that sold for just over $4,000 at a heritage auction in 2018. What I find particularly intriguing about the 1977 no mint mark dime is how it illustrates the human element in coin production. Despite all the protocols and quality control measures at U.S. mint facilities, errors like this remind us that coin production ultimately involves people making decisions, transporting materials, and operating machinery. Sometimes these human processes result in fascinating anomalies that become treasured collectibles. There's a wonderful story about a Massachusetts teacher who discovered one of these error dimes while counting the takings from a school bake sale in the early 1990s. Having some knowledge of coins from her father's collection, she recognized that something was off about a particular 1977 dime and set it aside. After having it professionally evaluated, she learned she had discovered one of these rare Denver-struck no mint mark varieties. The coin helped fund a significant portion of her classroom supplies budget that year, a sweet outcome from a simple bake sale. The 1977 no mint mark dime also highlights an interesting aspect of modern coin collecting: the concept of mint errors versus varieties. Strictly speaking, this coin represents an error, something that happened accidentally during production. But because a number of these were produced before the mistake was noticed, numismatists typically classify it as a variety, a distinct version of a coin that can be collected alongside the standard issue. This distinction matters to serious collectors who often specialize in either errors or varieties. One fascinating aspect of this coin story is that we don't know exactly how many were produced. Estimates range from a few thousand to perhaps 10,000, making it significantly rarer than a standard 1977 dime, of which hundreds of millions were minted, but not so rare as to be impossible to find. This creates that sweet spot of rarity that collectors love, uncommon enough to be valuable, but with just enough specimens in existence to give everyone hope of finding one. The condition factor plays an enormous role in the value of 1977 no mint mark dimes. Many of these coins entered circulation before their special nature was recognized, meaning they received the same wear and tear as any other dime. Finding one in circulated condition is exciting enough, but uncirculated examples are the real prizes. These would be dimes that somehow avoided circulation. Perhaps they were set aside in bank rolls or collector sets before their error status was identified. In MS-63 condition, which represents a nice, uncirculated coin with some minor imperfections, these dimes typically sell for around $1,000 to $1,500. Jump up to MS-65, a gem uncirculated grade with minimal marks, and the price more than doubles. At the highest grades, MS-67 and above, we're talking about museum-quality specimens that rarely come up for sale and command premium prices when they do. There's a psychological aspect to hunting for coins like the 1977 no mint mark dime that I find fascinating. Every time a collector receives change from the 1970s, there's that moment of anticipation when checking the date. Could this be one? The vast majority of the time, it's just an ordinary dime, but the thrill of possibly finding a four-figure coin in your pocket change keeps collectors examining their coins decade after decade. What makes the 1977 no mint mark dime particularly appealing to collectors is that it belongs to the Roosevelt dime series, one of the most accessible and collected series in American numismatics. Started in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death, these dimes are familiar to everyone who's ever handled American currency. There's something deeply satisfying about finding extraordinary value in something so ordinary and familiar. For those who might be inspired to search for this error, remember that 1977 dimes from Philadelphia legitimately have no mint mark, so not every 1977 dime without a D or S is valuable. It's the Denver-struck coins missing their mint marks that command premium prices. While authenticating these requires expertise, the hunt itself, examining dates and mint marks on your dimes, costs nothing but time and attention. And for many collectors, that thrill of the hunt is as rewarding as any potential financial windfall. The legacy of the 1977 no mint mark dime continues to influence coin collectors' habits even today. Many collectors who might otherwise ignore modern dimes still check every 1977 specimen they encounter, a testament to how a single variety can elevate an entire year's production in the eyes of the collecting community. This ongoing interest has helped maintain the coin's value and mystique nearly 5 decades after it was minted. Now let's fast forward to our most recent treasure, the 2007 Spitting Liberty Roosevelt dime. If the 1999 wide AM dime represents a dime mix-up and the 1977 no mint mark shows what happens when dies get shipped to the wrong place, the 2007 Spitting Liberty dime tells us a story about what happens when tiny damages to a die create lasting impressions on thousands of coins. The 2007 Spitting Liberty dime gets its colorful nickname from its most distinctive feature, a raised line that extends from President Roosevelt's lips on the obverse of the coin, creating the humorous appearance that the former president is spitting. This isn't some artistic choice or official design element. It's what's known in numismatic circles as a die break or die crack. To understand how this happened, we need to look at how the U.S. Mint produces coins. The dies used to strike coins are made of hardened steel, but even steel will eventually wear out or develop small cracks after striking thousands of coins. In the case of the 2007 Spitting Liberty dime, a small crack developed in the die being used to strike the obverse side, right at Roosevelt's mouth area. As this die continued to be used, the crack expanded, creating a progressively more noticeable raised line on the coins it produced. What makes the 2007 Spitting Liberty dime particularly interesting is that there are actually different stages of this die break. The earliest coins struck show just a tiny line, barely noticeable unless you're specifically looking for it. Later strikes, after the die crack had expanded, show a much more prominent spit, extending quite far from Roosevelt's lips. Specialists in error coins actually collect different stages of this die break, categorizing them from stage 1, minor, to stage 5, major spitting. Unlike the previous two dimes we've discussed, the 2007 Spitting Liberty isn't quite as valuable, but it's much easier to find, making it the perfect entry point for new collectors interested in error coins. Depending on the prominence of the die break and the condition of the coin, values typically range from $5 to $10 for minor examples up to $50 to $100 for dramatic, later-stage specimens in uncirculated condition. The most exceptional examples, those with the most pronounced spit in perfect mint state condition, have sold for upwards of $300. What makes this variety particularly exciting for collectors is that it was discovered relatively quickly after entering circulation, meaning many examples were saved in pristine condition. There's also the undeniable appeal of the nickname. Spitting Liberty conjures an immediate and amusing visual that even non-collectors can appreciate. It's the kind of coin you can show to friends who know nothing about numismatics and still get an interested reaction. I remember the buzz when these first started appearing on collector forums around 2008. People were posting magnified images, comparing the length and thickness of the spit on their coins, trying to determine which stage they had found. It created a mini treasure hunt across America, with people checking their pocket change and roll hunting at banks to find examples of this amusing error. There's a delightful story about a vending machine service technician in Illinois who noticed something odd about some of the 2007 dimes he was collecting from his route. Being a casual coin collector, he recognized the die break and began setting these dimes aside. Over the course of several months, he assembled a collection of over 40 examples showing different stages of the die crack's progression. He eventually sold this specialized collection to a die variety expert for enough money to take his family on a weekend vacation, proving that even modest modern errors can be worth hunting for. The 2007 Spitting Liberty dime also demonstrates how the internet has transformed coin collecting. In earlier eras, a minor die variety like this might have gone largely unnoticed by all but the most dedicated specialists. But in the digital age, images of these coins spread rapidly across collector forums and social media, creating widespread awareness and demand almost overnight. What might have been a footnote in numismatic journals decades ago became a popular collecting target thanks to the democratizing effect of online communities. When examining these dimes, condition plays a significant role in determining value, but the prominence of the die break is equally important. A heavily worn coin with a dramatic stage 5 spit might actually be worth more than a pristine uncirculated example with just a tiny stage 1 break. This creates an interesting dynamic where both the traditional factors, mint state, preservation, and the error-specific factors, size, and prominence of the die break interact to determine a coin's market value. The 2007 Spitting Liberty dime appears to have been produced exclusively at the Philadelphia Mint, though it's worth checking any 2007 dime regardless of mint mark. The phenomenon occurred when one or more obverse dies developed similar cracks, creating thousands of these error coins, though exactly how many exist remains unknown. Estimates suggest anywhere from 5,000 to 15,000 may have been released before the damaged dies were retired, making them scarce but not impossibly rare. For collectors of Roosevelt dimes, the 2007 Spitting Liberty represents one of the most visually distinctive and easily recognizable varieties in the entire series. Even someone with minimal numismatic knowledge can identify these coins with just a simple magnifying glass, making them perfect for beginning collectors or parents looking to introduce their children to the hobby. There's something undeniably accessible about a coin error that makes a historical figure appear to be spitting. What I find particularly interesting about the 2007 Spitting Liberty dime is how it represents the continuation of a long tradition in American numismatics, giving colorful, sometimes humorous nicknames to coin varieties. From the three-legged buffalo nickel to the wounded eagle quarter, these nicknames help coins transcend their status as mere currency and become cultural artifacts with stories attached to them. The Spitting Liberty joins this proud tradition, ensuring its place in collector consciousness for generations to come. Unlike many valuable coins that are locked away in safety deposit boxes or high-end collections, many 2007 Spitting Liberty dimes remain in circulation today. This creates an ongoing treasure hunt where anyone, from serious collectors to curious novices, has a chance of finding one in their pocket change. It's this democratic aspect of the hobby that continues to attract new enthusiasts year after year. So there you have it, 3 remarkable Roosevelt dimes spanning 3 decades, each with its own unique story to tell. From the elusive 1999 White AM with its dime mix-up potentially worth thousands, to the 1977 No Mint mark with its cross-country die confusion, to the quirky 2007 Spitting Liberty with its memorable visual flaw. These coins represent the fascinating variety of errors and varieties that make modern coin collecting such an engaging pursuit. What links these 3 dimes together isn't just their Roosevelt design or their status as errors. It's that they're all potentially hiding in plain sight. Unlike ancient coins or classic rarities that were recognized and preserved from the start, these modern treasures entered circulation alongside millions of their ordinary counterparts. They passed through cash registers, sat in piggy banks, and jingled in pockets, some still do to this day. Thanks for joining me on this journey through these remarkable Roosevelt dimes. If you've enjoyed learning about these hidden treasures, be sure to subscribe for more videos exploring the fascinating world of valuable coins that might be hiding in your pocket change right now. Until next time, keep checking those dimes. You never know what you might find.